Today I want to show you the best purple palette I have come across to date. And that is the ABH Norvina Pro Pigment Eyeshadow Palette Volume 5. This is a purple lover's dream. Now, this palette actually looks kind of scary, and it took me a while to purchase this. I was oohing and ahhing. It's only because of Rema. Hey Rema, thank you so much for this recommendation that I ended up buying it. For me personally, I know many of you feel the same way. I don't generally tend to purchase larger palettes like these because they can be really overwhelming to work with. You've just got so many shades and so many options. And in the past, when I've purchased larger palettes, I ended up using only like 4 shades because everything else was just a bit too much. So if you can get past the big palette anxiety, let me tell you, this is absolutely beautiful. I am incredibly impressed, not only with the tone of purples, but the quality of these purples. From shimmers to mattes, particularly mattes. Mattes can be very difficult to formulate with purple tones, especially very pigmented purple tones. Mattes are very hard to get right, and I feel like ABH Norvina collection, they've done it. They've gotten it right. These mattes are so easy to work with. Today, for example, this look that I've got on my eye, which is this beautiful violet purple smoky eye. Predominantly I've used these 2 shades right here, which are your darkest and deepest in this entire palette, and I really didn't have trouble blending them out. I've had this palette for some time now, and to be honest, every time I want to do a purple eye look, I do have some other purple palettes, but I always just gravitate towards this. I end up picking this up because the purples in here are absolutely divine. I don't know if you can get any better than this. So my makeup style is pretty wearable. I don't do very colorful or really detailed type of looks. That's just not my style. And what I want to show you are looks using this palette that aren't so intense, where you can actually use this palette and make this very wearable. I feel like if you just Google search Norvina palette looks, you end up getting a lot of cut creases, a lot of colorful and intense looks, and I think that's one of the things that kind of put me off at the beginning. I just thought this was a more of an artistry palette, really for people who do creative looks and not for a regular person like me who just enjoys wearable makeup. That's not the case because you can do lots of wearable looks using this palette. For example, you can even do office looks with this palette because you've got some really great neutrals. You've got an excellent transition shade, which is A4. And this is quite interesting. It looks so pale in the pan, but seriously, this is very pigmented, so you don't need a lot. Same goes, to be honest, with all the mattes. But A4, A5, B4 is such a beautiful shade. This all over the lid, I'm just going to swatch it at the back of my hand. So, can you see that? Mauve eyeshadow with very, very fine pink reflex. And this by itself, all over the eye, that's all you need. You just need, perhaps, you don't even need a transition shade if you don't want to. You could just use those 2 or just on its own, and you have a work appropriate eye that will look very different and beautiful and just really soft. And all you need to do is probably just add a smudgy brown eye pencil. So all of these 3 shades, you can create work appropriate looks. You can use E4 all over the lid, but it also helps to break sort of that pink tone that's in this palette. And so I'm very happy this shade was included in this palette. You also have this stunning pink eyeshadow, which I have worn to work. Let me swatch it for you. It just feels so buttery and smooth. E2, and you can see the tone of it. Again, it's that violet tone that looks super flattering on brown skin tones. And I think that's why I probably really love this palette, because there aren't too many blue purples in here. A lot of them are magenta and violet purples. If you have a skin tone similar to mine, those are the type of purples that actually look the most flattering. But of course, you don't just get everything that's violet. You also get shades like these. These are so interesting. So I'll show you a look with this. I mean, how pigmented. I barely popped my finger in there, but how pigmented is this shade? I will say that this shade is perhaps a little bit scary to use because just look at that. Not only does it look pastel, but it doesn't look ashy pastel or chalky pastel. It is extremely beautifully pigmented. What an incredible shade. And I think this is why I love this palette. Yes, you have these tones and you might look at these tones and think, oh, that's not going to look good on me. They are too pale. Well, they're not. They're not too pale. They're perfect. There are also shades that in the palette don't look particularly impressive. For example, A2 and B1. They look quite light and they look like shades that perhaps I would probably never use. Incorrect. They are beautiful. So these are shades A2 and B1, and just look at that reflex. So if you're doing a halo eye, for example, popping these right in the middle, or even just a light spattering of this all over the lid, looks absolutely beautiful. So they don't look impressive at all in the pan, but when you apply them on the eye, magic. So the shimmers are pigmented, the mattes are pigmented, the shimmers are easy to blend and work with, the mattes are easy to blend and work with. These eyeshadows also last all day on me, so I haven't had any issues with creasing. If you have oily eyelids, of course use an eye primer. Other than that, you should be fine with just concealer on your lids. Now in terms of fallout, you will be fine with sort of the lighter mattes. They don't really have fallout. It's really the really intense deeper mattes that I recommend doing your eyes first and your makeup last, because the last thing you want is a very pigmented eyeshadow falling on top of your makeup. Anyway, let's just jump into the looks that I'm going to show you with this palette, and let me know in the comment section below which look is your favorite, and most important of all, do you have this palette? How are you finding it? Let me know in the comment section below. The first shade I'm going to go into is A4, just as a crease shade. This is a really good transition shade for pretty much all purple looks. Okay, next up, I'm going to go into the darkest shade, which is E5. I'm going to create a really dark, rich purple smoky eye. And I'm just going to pat that right here. Whew. That payoff is so beautiful, so rich and intense. And I'm just very slowly patting this eyeshadow in. Gonna wing it out a little bit. Then I'm going to take a blending brush and just going to blend the edges of this eyeshadow. You can see it just blends out beautifully. Now I'm going to dip into A5, which is slightly darker than the crease shade we started with, and I'm going to add that right here and take it into the crease. I've just done the same on this eye, and all I'm doing right now is just blending this part in. I'm going to leave as is for now, and right here I'm going to blend in this edge just so that it doesn't look so harsh. Now for this next step, I'm going to go back into E5 right here and going to apply that to the lower lash line. And going to take it in. And going into the shade D5, which is this beautiful violet purple right here. And I'm going to start applying that right onto the middle of the lid. And essentially, I just want to apply this shade all over the lid. Gosh, look at that color. It's absolutely beautiful. Oh my god, I'm so obsessed with this shade. Whew. And make sure I add this color into the crease area. And then I'm gonna take my blending brush and just going to blend. Now that I've got the color really beautifully saturated on the lid. I'm going to darken the outer V just a little bit more. I want most of this attention to be on this purple, so I don't want to deepen the outer V too much, but just a little bit more. I'm going to go back into E5. I'm just going to add it to the edge here. And I'm not going to bring it too much in. Again, the focus is really that beautiful purple. So I'm just going to keep it really at the edge. And then I'm going to go back into the E5 and just deepen up the lower lash line as well. And then I'm going to take A2 on a teeny tiny brush and just going to add that right here. This shade has a really beautiful pinky purple reflex, and it works so well with purple eyeshadow. It's a gorgeous color. It really doesn't look impressive in the pan, but once you start using it, it's beautiful. And I'm just gonna hit just around here. So this is the final look. I absolutely adore this really violet smoky eye. And in the past, whenever I've worn this, I always get compliments because it's just really striking. Here's a look. I just want to quickly show you that if you did want to layer shimmer right on top, I'm going to take E5 right here and I'm going to layer this right in the middle. This is a really gorgeous metallic eyeshadow. Oh wow, stunning. Oh my god. So you can absolutely wear this look matte, or you can add this metallic eyeshadow. Seriously, I am kind of speechless because it's just so beautiful. Now I'm also gonna take this glitter shade right here and I'm gonna add it here just so you can see what the glitter shade looks like. Wow. Wow. So this is probably a shade it's unlikely I will ever use this shade, but I have to say it is just really breathtakingly beautiful. It's got all these different types of glitter, right? So it's not just one shade, it's multicolored. And you can see I don't have a single fallout with this glitter shade. Absolutely nothing here. Let me just turn my lights off and see if you can see the glitters better. Oh yeah, you can see the glitters better with that light off in the back. You know what, you guys, perhaps for a night out, I will use the glitter. It's beautiful. I'm gonna have to use it. For this look, I don't have any concealer on my eyes. I've just applied a clear primer. And I'm going to go in with shade B3, which is like a pale pastel lilac shade. And I'm just going to apply that in the crease. And you can see that it shows up really nicely, even for a pastel. So it's not ashy or chalky. It looks beautiful. I don't know how a pastel shade like this will look on deeper skin tones. If you're deeper than me, I think you will definitely need to use a concealer. But with my skin tone, I can get away with it. So here I have the beautiful lilac pastel. Just in the crease, it's very, very pretty. Next up, with the same blending brush, I'm going to go in the shade C3, and I'm going to apply that just below that lilac, kind of in that crease area. Tap it in and blend. And I'm going to bring this a little bit onto the lid as well. Now with circular motions, just going to blend this into the crease, just so we don't have that distinct lilac and purple line. It will all kind of blend together. Now this is quite a purple look, and you may think, wow, I am not going to be able to wear this out. So what we're going to do is actually ground this purple with using a neutral color. That's going to make this look really variable and yet really fun and different. So I'm going to use the shade B5 right here, which is a gorgeous metallic. And I'm going to use just a Real Techniques brush, something a little bit firm and stiff. So what I'm going to do is apply this shade right here. And we're just going to tap it and apply it close to the lash line. And then go ahead and blend it up just a little bit. You don't want to cover the entire eye with this. You just want to keep it majority of the lash line. So when you open your eyes, you'll see this halo of purple at the top, but then you'll see this really gorgeous brown. It's like a burgundy brown. It's beautiful. And then I'm going to take this shade and pop this at the lower lash line as well. Now if you still think it's too much purple, you can tone this look down even more just by taking this shade right here and bringing it up a little bit. And so you kind of just blending it into that purple, and that's going to make the look even more variable. See that? And you're just tapping it. I haven't picked up any more product. I'm just using the brush to blend, and really essentially that's it. Hey guys, this is the look. I'm actually in a rush and I need to head out because all I've done is added a dark brown eye pencil, just upper lash line and lower lash line mascara, and really that's it. I love this look. I think it is so beautiful. It gives you that hit of purple while also being very variable. Now if you think this purple is too much, you can always tone it down. Don't apply too much product, just a sheer wash, and you'll get a very similar but more of a muted purple look. For this look, I'm going to go directly in with this shade and create a bit of a halo eye. And then blend. I really love working with this shade to smoke out any look, just because it is such a beautiful color with ton of depth and it blends out effortlessly. I'm gonna go ahead and blend out the edge. Next, I'm gonna use the same shade, the lower lash line. Gosh, how rich is this color? Beautiful. Now I'm going to take this gorgeous shimmer in C1 and place it right in the middle. Wow, that's such a beautiful shimmer. Whew. Now before I finish off this look, I'll show the two looks together. I'm going to jump into a different look here. For this look, I'm going to go into E4. Now I'm going to go into the shade D1, which is like this beautiful warm coppery bronze. Gonna apply that right in the corner. Then I'm gonna go back into E4 and just deepen that crease with that shade just a little bit. I'm going to line my eye with a pencil. I'm going to take a dark brown pencil, and it doesn't need to be precise. It's just a really rough line. I'm going to put it at the top, at the lower lash line as well. Now once we've done that, I'm going to go in with the shade E5, which is right at the bottom here. And it's to really just diffuse the look of the line, make it look a little bit smoky. Now I'm going to take the shade C4, which is right here, just on my ring finger. Now these are the final looks. For this one, I've just added a black eye pencil right at the top and smudged along the lower lash line, some mascara and concealer, and that's it. Love this halo eye. And for this look, I've just added some mascara and concealer. For this look, I'm going to create a very easy smoky eye, and so we're going to go into the shade D3 right here, which is just beautiful, pretty much as a one and done eyeshadow. I'm going to actually just pick it up with my finger. I'm just going to press it onto the eye. I have concealed my eyelids. I'm just going to take a Wayne Goss brush number 4 and just going to blend this into the crease. I am going to apply more eyeshadow. This is just the first layer, just so I can get the blending down. More of this shade on my finger and apply a second layer. How gorgeous is that? And go back with the blending brush and just blend the edges. Then I'm going to go back into the same shade, but this time pick it up on a brush, and then I'm just going to run it underneath the eye. This shade definitely has fallout from those shimmer particles, so you will need to use it before you apply makeup. For this look, I'm going to do a halo. I'm going to take A5, which is this shade right here, and then I'm going to apply that in the outer V as well as the inner eye. Gosh, how beautifully pigmented and rich this shade is. It's so beautiful. I'm gonna pop that right here. I'm also gonna pop it right in the middle to create that halo. Then I'm going to take A4 just on a fluffy brush, and I am just going to blend out the crease. Pick up a little bit more A4, add that to the inner corner, the inner part of the eye, and keep blending the crease area. Now I'm going to intensify that halo. I'm going to go back with A5 and add the A5 again, and then I'm just going to blend right into the edge right here. also gonna blend just a little bit on the edge so it's not so harsh. And I'm going to take this really gorgeous mustardy brown right here. This is E4, and I'm going to pop that right in the middle. Now you can totally leave this look matte. I think as a matte eye, it looks really stunning. And you could just apply a bit of an eye pencil or a liner and you are good to go. I really love this eye just matte the way it is, but I will add a shimmer on top just to show you as many shades as possible. Just touching that. Then I'm gonna go back into A5 right on the tip of my brush and run it underneath. Next up, I'm going to take this really beautiful shimmer. This is A2 right here, and I'm going to pop it right in the middle. Right in the middle here. These are the finished eye looks. We have the really beautiful and simple one eyeshadow that creates a stunning purple smoky eye just on its own all over the eye, and then again a very simple and wearable halo eye. It looks so stunning, great for every day. What a beautifully versatile palette, and I love the number of shades that are just different tones of purple in here. I really love that. I feel like many other purple palettes that I've seen in the past will have one or two purple shades and you're left feeling a little bit sad and disheartened because there's just not enough purple, but that's not the case. You get so many different purples in here. This palette is really a joy to use. I've had so much fun playing with it and I love the looks that I've created with it. I hope you've enjoyed this video and I'll see you guys in my next one. See ya.